How do you extract maximum value with thin poker bets? Imagine you're holding a hand that's just a little better than what your opponent might call with. You want to squeeze out as much profit as possible without risking too much. That's what thin value bets are all about. They're bets made with hands that are only slightly ahead of your opponent's calling range. The goal is to get called by weaker hands enough times to make the bet profitable. But to do this well, you need to do two things. First, you have to estimate what hands your opponent could be holding based on how they played earlier. This is called assigning a range. If you guess too narrow or too wide, your thin value bet might not work. Your opponent's range should include hands they might call with, even if they're weaker than yours. Next, you need to figure out how many of those hands you beat and how many beat you. If you beat a lot of their weaker hands, you can profit from betting. But if many of their calling hands beat you, it's better to check or fold. The closer your hand is to the top of their calling range, the thinner your bet can be. Skilled players can make these bets more often because they read ranges well and understand their opponent's tendencies. When deciding how much to bet, aim for around 2/3 to 3/4 of the pot. This size encourages weaker hands to call but still makes it profitable for you. Opponents who tend to call too often or call lighter when scare cards appear are good targets for thin value bets. Think about the story your betting pattern tells. If your range looks heavy on strong hands, opponents are more likely to call with weaker hands, giving you more thin value opportunities. When the board is coordinated or has potential for many draws, thin value bets can be more effective because opponents might call lighter, thinking you could be bluffing. Also, if both players check on the flop and turn, the ranges tend to be weaker, making thin value bets more profitable. Practice helps a lot here. Over time, you'll get better at reading ranges and sizing your bets just right. Remember, the key to extracting maximum value with thin bets is understanding your opponent's range, knowing which hands you beat, and choosing the right bet size to get those weaker hands to call. This way, you can turn marginal hands into consistent profit over the long run.